In today's video, I'm going to share a quick tutorial on how I use the stock reports. There's the bullish and bearish daily reports, weekly reports, and monthly reports. And the process is basically the same for each one. When using the daily bullish or bearish report, you want to look at daily charts. When you're using the bullish or bearish weekly report, you want to use weekly charts, and monthly charts for the monthly reports. I'm going to share two ways that I get tickers into my charting platform software. I like to use MarketSmith to review charts. Everyone has different services, so I can only speak to this, but some of the principles as far as copying, pasting, and getting the tickers oriented in such a way that your platform will accept them is the same. For all the examples I'm going to share today, we'll be using the bullish weekly report. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you have your chart set on weekly. As you go through the report, at the beginning, there's always a table of contents and a disclaimer. This is for educational purposes only. And that tells you a little bit about each report. It tells you about the stocks that are used. I've created my own equal weight index, which is a basket of stocks that has certain characteristics that I'm looking for. And this information tells you a little bit about the sectors and the industry group as well. Then you jump right into the results. There's a lot of information here. The first is sector and industry group information. And basically what that's telling you is that of all the stocks that were scanned with multiple hurdles or metrics, and of all of those that were accepted, some will meet the scans, but I put in other filters, and a lot of them won't meet that second round. But this tells you of all the results for, in this case, weekly gapping up, 20% were leisure, 20% were utility, 20% food and beverage, chemical, and software. And the same process is applied to the industry groups. Why is this important? Knowing how many stock candidates are coming out of an individual sector or an industry group can help you spot rotational themes that might be occurring. Money is constantly shifting around in the market, and this is one way to help you pinpoint it. You can look at just the stocks that are here, but if you're noticing over and over again that a lot of the major opportunities are happening from the same sectors or the same industry groups, you can go and explore the other stocks in those industry groups, as well as, say, the industry group or sector charts, and see how everything is performing. Maybe you'll find some additional opportunities, or you'll be able to identify better leadership within that specific sector or industry group. Looking here, I'm seeing energy and leisure, energy and finance, energy. So clearly energy is strong in the market right now. Then you want to draw your attention to the individual results for each category. And if you're uncertain about what the results may or may not mean, I have a little example chart next to each category. So here's an example of a gap. For the weekly wide range bars up, I have an example of a wide range bar up so that you can better see and understand. You'll notice at the bottom of each page it says Convert Ticker for Import. When you click on that, it'll take you to this website. Each software platform has different ways for you to input tickers. And what's fantastic about this little converter is you can choose how you want it to structure the tickers so that it can be accepted by your software platform. But before we get to that, I'm going to show you how I have mine set up in MarketSmith. I have a bullish folder and a bearish folder right there. When you look at the table of contents, you can see that the lists that I have correspond with the table of contents. The wide range bars and the gaps up together, because in my mind those are very similar. I will put 3 weeks up, several weeks up, and strong moves up, as well as the 10 EMA stretch in the strong up folder. I put the 13 and the 52-week new highs in the new high folder. Anything under the acceleration category goes in Excel up. I put all the volume candidates in the volume folder, and all the moving average alerts in the moving average folder, and all the consolidating and indecision results in a contraction folder. I do the exact same thing for bull and for bear. So I've got my folders and my list set up. I've cleared out the old information that I had from the prior week. Apparently not this one. And this is a great opportunity to share a few little tricks. If you want to delete several stocks at once in MarketSmith, click on the first one and then go down to the area where you want to delete. You hold the Shift key down and then click, and they'll all highlight at once. You can click the trash can and they all go away. Now suppose you only want to get rid of a few tickers and they're dispersed or scattered throughout your current list. Click on the ticker that you don't want, then hold the Control key and click on the additional tickers that you'd like to get rid of. Now hit the trash can and those tickers are gone. So I'm just going to quickly check and make sure that all the lists are empty before I start, and they are. There's 3 additional lists I have. I have a bullish all, and I'm going to show you how I use that in just a minute. As I'm flipping through the charts, there are standouts, things that catch my eye. I put them all in a list. Then after I'm done, I go back and I review my list, and from that I take only the very best ones and I try to keep it under 10 stocks, and that goes on my Bull Best watch list. And here you can see I only had 8, and this is from last week. And one of the things I like to do before I clear out my Bull Best watch list and my Bull Standout list is I like to go through and I like to see how they all performed for the week. I have a preset column list that I've designed and saved, and that's what I like to use. And I just look at the weekly price change and see how they did. And I look at what did best and what underperformed. This was my big winner right here, MIDD. Caught that. And look, it had a great move. You can go through and look at the action. And as you review the stocks that were on your list, you want to compare and contrast the ones that did well versus the ones that didn't, and see if you can find some things in common with them. If you do this every week over time, you will improve. Another thing I like to do is I like to save both of these lists and put them in a folder, and then I can go back and look anytime I want. I've already done that, so I can go ahead and I can remove these. I click on the first one, hold the Shift key down, click on the last one, and click delete. Alright, everything's empty and we're ready to go. If I'm really pressed for time, one of the things I'll sometimes do is I'll put everything in the all folder. That way it eliminates repeats. But I actually, when I have the time, I actually prefer to look at each category separately. I want to be aware of the ones that are turning up repeatedly on multiple scans. But if I'm in a hurry and I have MarketSmith, I highlight the whole page. I hit Control C, or you can right click and hit copy. Then you go to the ticker converter link and click inside the input box and click Control V. Okay, and I do that till I get through the whole report. I've copied and pasted all the pages into the input box of the ticker converter, and then I just have it set for comma and space, hit convert, click into the output box, Control A, think of it as Control All, select all, then Control X, and that cuts them out. Then you pop over to MarketSmith, find your list bullish all, click inside, Control V. You say OK to the ones that it's not going to import, and voila, you have all the tickers. And in this case, it's a total of 351 tickers. I prefer to do them by category. So I hit clear field, and I'm just going to go one page at a time. I like to know what kind of results I'm looking at. And there's certain categories that I like best, and you're going to find over time as you use it that certain things stand out to you. Everybody's different. But I like gaps and I like wide range bars a lot. They suggest a strong shift in sentiment, a kind of a game changer. So I go to my gap and WRB and I paste it. And I can give those extra time and look at them. Look at this, Groupon. That was on my list last week, and I couldn't bring myself to put it on my watch list because I thought, Groupon, come on. Not very exciting, but that's one of the benefits of going back through and looking at some of the past stuff that you've selected or that you didn't select. It helps you get rid of biases that you have. So let's say I'm very interested in Groupon. I like the volume, I like the breakout, I like that it's coming up on this resistance area. It'll be interesting to see. And when I put them on my list, even though it's bullish, I'm still going to pay attention to the price action. I'm not going to be locked into going long. And also MIDD, I like that. I like strong moves with lots of volume. It's got 3 weeks up. Looks like prices accelerated. So I'll go ahead just for this example, and I'm going to put it on my bull standout. They're just catching my eye as I go through. I'm not going to struggle. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. If it catches my eye, I just add it to the list. Lots of volume here. I'm not really interested in rental cars, but I understand why people are. And that's something else to consider. Everyone has different industry groups that they're comfortable trading, and you need to go with what works for you. Michael's looks interesting. The next thing I do is I clear my fields, and I go on down to strong stocks. I copy and I paste 3 weeks up. I copy and paste 5 out of 6 weeks up. I also do the strong moves up and the 10 EMA stretch. Convert those, Control A, Control X, come into the strong up list, Control V after I've clicked into it, and I just work my way through each list. I'm especially drawn to gaps and wide range bars, strong consecutive weekly moves, new highs. I'm crazy about the volume. The volume page is absolutely one of my most favorite pages because that's how you spot institutional footsteps. And I'm looking for tight price action. This was on my list last week. It did pretty well. I'm going to add it again to the standouts, and then from there I will further filter and take out only the best, as I mentioned before. And then it just becomes a process of going through the stocks, looking for consolidations or breakouts, looking for tight price action. I want to show you another thing that you can do in MarketSmith that's pretty lovely. Now, these are just results, but you say, hey, Heather, I also want to filter for fundamental. I'm big on trading growth stocks, and that's something that's important to me. Well, that's not a problem. You come over here to the screeners, find your fundamental screen that you're interested in. Here's my minimum estimates that I like. And what I can do is, instead of using the MarketSmith database, I click on the blue font, and now I can click any one of these lists that I've created that have all the results from the report, and I can filter that. So I can use the strong up category, and now it's running this fundamental filter from the report results through that, and it gives me 16 stocks that have these minimum criteria that I'm interested in. Maybe I'm just interested in stocks that have finally become profitable. Again, you go in, find whatever list it is that have the results from the report. I filter that, and now I have 3 stocks instead of 95 in that category. But that's just another way to take results from the reports and then go ahead and filter them for additional fundamental metrics that are important to you. So that's pretty much what I do. After I have several on my standouts, I don't have that many right now, but I can go through and look at the ones that interest me. I take the best, and then I would add them to my bullish watch list, my best bull watch list. So that's basically the process for going through the reports. Now I'm going to take a few minutes quickly and kind of tell you a little bit about each screen. The first thing is this isn't a single screen. I have about 8 hurdles that each stock has to meet, and then from that I have additional filters. So there's a lot going on here. I want it to produce results that I think have a higher probability of success. I want to have the minimum number of results. I don't want to have to look at stock charts for hours and hours and hours. I don't want to have to look at 2,000 stocks a day. I only want to look at the things that have the characteristics that I think have a higher probability of success in terms of giving me a quality watch list with things that are close to being ready to roll. So as I mentioned before, gap ups and wide range bars, strong shift in sentiment. 3 weeks up and 5 out of 6 weeks up can show institutional interest. A big institution or firm isn't going to buy all the shares that they want to buy in one day. They're going to divvy it up over weeks and try to buy it so that they don't push the price up too much. A lot of them like to keep their orders hidden from other traders. And the way they do that is by buying a little bit every day, a little bit every week. Sometimes you'll find that stocks that have made some really strong moves up. You don't want to necessarily just jump in. You want to wait for a consolidation or a pullback or another base to form. A lot of times the tickers under the strong moves up and the 10 EMA stretch are extended. And so you might need to wait for a lower risk opportunity to enter. But it can help you find leadership, and it can help you find some strong candidates. Sometimes the moves are so strong and so extended, it actually flips to the other side, and you might be able to identify a climax top that looks like a good short candidate. It all depends on your time frame. It all depends on your strategies and your style. 13-week high and 52-week high, that's great for finding breakouts. Price accelerating, anything that's accelerating. You've got price accelerating, relative strength accelerating, up-down volume ratio accelerating. Those show an increase in strength. And again, like the prior candidates, sometimes those can be extended. So, you want to be careful, you want to be thoughtful. But a lot of times after there's an acceleration, there will be some kind of a consolidation or pause. And sometimes that can offer low risk opportunities. Outside week, kind of similar in some ways to gaps and wide range bars in that it can show a shift in sentiment, especially if it closes really strong. Obviously, you need to look and see what the recent trend has been. Basically, as a trader, you only have a couple of ways you can trade. You either trade a breakout or you trade a retest of something, a retest of support and resistance, a retest of a prior breakout area. A pullback, that's a retest of something. Maybe it's a retest of a moving average or a boss moving average. So you just need to identify predominantly what your trading style is, what you feel comfortable with. I prefer pullbacks and retests over breakouts, but I will take breakouts if they have really strong volume and really strong closes and some kind of identifiable catalyst. All right, anything that has above average volume, big weekly spikes, that's usually institutional interest. A retail trader is not going to buy, 5 million shares in a week of a stock. I'm a big fan of stair-stepping and weekly clusters, but you can usually find so many great stocks in the volume scans. It's almost like a kid in a candy store. But you can find lots of great stocks. How do you decide? You want something with very little distribution. You want to see your relative strength accelerating or sloping upward, moving into new highs. Lots of tight price action. That's something else to focus on. Moving averages in proper order. Then any fundamentals that are important to you. Here's another little trick I'll share with you is maybe you just want to have one list and you want to go category by category. You just flip through all the charts, you add the ones that interest you to your watch list, and then you want to delete the list and start fresh and go on to the next category. When you usually start to look through charts after you've copied and pasted, you'll click on the first one. If you use the play button and have it scroll through the stocks, as long as you don't click on any of the individual stocks as you're going down, when you get to the end of the list, you can simply hold the shift key down and click on the last ticker on the list. It will highlight them all and you could delete them. Usually the results that come up on the moving average alerts, the 10-week, the 20, the 40, the 6 and 10 converging, usually that's where you can find a lot of consolidations. You can find some basis forming sometimes. The last page, the consolidations, the doji week, the inside week, the tight weekly closes, those are also good areas to find stocks that are resting, consolidating, pulling back, forming bases, that sort of thing. I tried to put the convert ticker link on every page, and the last page just offers links to my website where there's a lot of free educational material, and you just click on the picture and poof, it'll take you to the website. Over time, I will probably be adding and removing some scans. Right now, I'm really happy with what I've got, but I'm always trying to make improvements and experiment and explore new ideas. So My goal is to, over time, strike a balance between number of candidates versus the quality and probability of the candidates. I always like to test things out really thoroughly before I make any changes. If you have any questions, you can find my email information on my website. I hope some of you found this information helpful. Thanks for watching and good fills, everyone. If you found my free educational materials helpful, I encourage you to make a donation to the Children's Therapy Center, an outstanding nonprofit organization that helps children with special needs. You can also give without actually giving by using Amazon Smile. Amazon Smile is run by Amazon.com, and a portion of your purchases will go to the charity of your choice. Simply select Children's Therapy Center, located in Kent, Washington. You can find more about the Children's Therapy Center on my website on the Principals page. You can also find links to CTC on my YouTube channel in the About section, as well as under every video that I produce. Also consider donating if you've had a great year in trading. Be generous, contribute, give back. Lend a hand to those in need. You can find more free educational material on my website. Under the Education tab, you'll find helpful podcasts, YouTubes, chat room information, book suggestions, webinars, presentations, and helpful resource links. There's information on lessons learned and psychology, trades made, a dedicated section to trading growth stocks, market information, helpful tools and discounts on trading services, information on XLQ, an Excel plugin that retrieves real-time and historical financial data, market and stock analysis, and there's an assortment of videos on my YouTube channel. All this information is for educational purposes only, and the goal is to help you build a solid foundation that you can expand upon. Our chat room is popular and a favorite for many growth stock traders. Take the time to build a solid foundation of understanding before you begin trading. Take the time to clearly define your setups, your entry triggers, your sell rules, and most importantly, have a thorough plan for risk management. The first step in that journey is learning. There are no shortcuts to successful trading. So take the time to research and to educate yourself thoroughly.